Hello, and welcome to the Santaland podcast. I created it just for you. I'm your host, Tony Felice. In each episode, I'll read to you for 10 minutes, and then we'll talk about what we just heard. Like the cricket in my story, I'll guide you through a grown-up fairy tale, one that explores ideas of existence, identity, and the soul's journey through trauma, and the transformative power of love. By the end, you'll have heard my whole story, a sneak peek into the creative process of bringing a book to life. Maybe we'll read other books together. But for now, follow the wise cricket and discover the Santaland within yourself, a place of hope, connection, and peace that's already inside of you. This podcast is especially made for those like me who feel a little different and maybe talk about math at weddings or philosophy at funerals. And like me, maybe you have a loving husband or a wife or somebody else that loves you. If not, we're here to love you because you're in good company, my dear friends, here in Santaland. And welcome back to the Santaland podcast. I'm your host, Tony Felice, and we are up to chapter 45, entitled Leave It to David. A dove flew towards the window and stopped short of the pane. I noticed it first, and then Tom. "How odd," Tom said. The paramedics left after examining Tom and finding nothing wrong with him. They were perplexed. Other than looking like an insane person, they could find nothing out of sorts. Perfect blood pressure, heart rate, pupils, etc. They reluctantly left after David assured them repeatedly that Tom would be okay and that they needn't worry. "David, I have to tell you what happened," Tom said. "Okay." David sat on the edge of the bed where Tom was propped up with a book. "The most remarkable thing happened, David." Okay," he replied. I think I died for a minute, and while I didn't go to heaven, I did go to a place very like it. And the crazy thing is this. A talking cricket showed me the truth of God and myself and love." "You talked to a cricket?" asked David. "Yes, I know what you're thinking. I'm not overwhelmed by everything that's just happened. It's quite the opposite. I have faith like I have not since, I don't know, maybe before I was 7. I honestly, I feel rejuvenated and... Hold on, I have more to tell you." "Okay, I can tell you're serious. Keep going. I'm not mad or anything," said David. Well, there's no need to be mad," Tom replied. "There's reason to be happy. I know everything will be okay because the cricket showed me more than you know. It all comes down to love. So strange how we go about our daily lives avoiding love at all costs, especially loving ourselves. And David, I've come to learn that that's a terrible thing because it hurts more things than you realize. Somehow we're conditioned to feel bad if we don't look a certain way, and we've been bombarded with words and deeds that are incongruous with love. We are here for one reason, David, and that's to love one another, and to lift one another up, and to build wonderful things for each other, not just for ourselves." That's interesting," David replied, and asked, "What is the only thing that you give, and the only thing that you receive, that you get to take with you when you die?" he asked. After a hesitation, Tom replied cheerfully, "Love." And that broad smile crept across his face again. Chapter 46. A Reunion. David sat at his computer in the kitchen. He could barely see the activity to rebuild the barn through the window. They had gotten a lot done in just under a month. The frame and the exterior walls were complete, the roof was on, and the windows were being installed. By his estimation, the barn would be done by Christmas, maybe in time for a photo with Blitzen. But David sobbed before he could help himself. Rosie walked into the room and left 2 tissues next to David without a word. She went back to the kitchen. David began to type. "Dear Claire, Carson, Corrine, Kelly, Mac, Maria, Meredith, and Nicole. I would really like for you all to be here for Christmas. He knew Meredith would not respond. The break after the fire did not go well, and there were so many complications. You all know why. He finished with, "Let's make it the best Christmas ever." Rosie entered the room with a replacement cup of coffee for David. She hovered. He needed it. She said nothing. She just patted him on the shoulder and sighed and left the room. Okay. That is chapters 45 and 46. What do you think's happening? I think it's important as a writer to always keep things stirred up just a little bit and keep the reader guessing. What has happened? Why is David crying? Why is Rosie, uncharacteristically, hovering over David and making sure that her presence is known? We're soon to find out. Boy, this is a short episode because we've got lots to cover here soon. Thanks for sticking by. That's all I got to say for now. So thank you for listening to the Santaland podcast and this very short episode without me droning on and on as we get to the end of the first part of the book. Thanks you so much for being a part of the Santaland podcast. It's all for you. It really is. And I mean that sincerely. I'm not just throwing that out there. I wrote this to make a difference in people's lives, hopefully, in a small way. So with that, I hope you have a wonderful night and that you join us for the conclusion of the first part of our book. And thanks so much for joining us. God bless. Take care.